Today, we discuss my strategies in order to make your football club sustainable if you're a lower level club. We also take a look at our Europa Conference League phase results and we recap everything that's going on with Dumbarton. It's going to be a cranking episode. Let's run that intro and more importantly, like and subscribe. Welcome into the video, YouTube. Before we get into it, please do like, subscribe, because it does help promote the content out to football managing enthusiasts. And on top of that as well, if you leave a comment, if this helps you, that'd be greatly appreciated, just so we know that this video was definitely worthwhile filming. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about how I keep my club sustainable first. After that, we'll recap kind of how the league and the league phase for the Conference League is gone. And then we'll cut away and come back into the end of what the Conference League is and see where it all sits. With that being said, first thing to do when you talk about sustainability is looking at the club's finances. We currently got 6 million in the club, thank God. 3 million still in the transfer budget. We're currently committed to spending just over our wage budget, but I am about to change all of that in just a second. The main reason why this is important, we need to outline what I do when I'm a lower level club. I've done a lot of work, obviously, in other Riser Nation saves, and Dumbarton's pretty similar, that they start with no real money. It's hard to make money in the Scottish League unless you become one of the more reputable clubs and you get a good amount of sponsorship. So with that being said, let's talk about what we do in order to make the club sustainable. What we do is a few different things. I put in some strategies in place and there's no real monetary value that you have to get up to, but I feel like I keep doing this strategy until I get to the point where I have enough money to go, you know what, I can spend on players that I think are going to be world-class in the future, and then I do it on a next level. So what I mean by that is you get to a stage where you have enough money in the club. Say your Premier League club, you sustain yourself in a couple of seasons. You can go buy any American wonder kid for 7.5 to 10 mil, South American wonder kid, and then from there, you know that you're going to sell him on for 40, 50 million. That's the next level what we're doing. Here it's lower level, so it's a little bit different. So what we do is we go in, and first thing is we actually try and find free agent players that have got reputation of being at a bigger club. So take Conser here, Liverpool, great player, good for the league, and comes in and plays pretty well at the moment at 7.09. And the reason why that's important is a player like this is someone that a Premier League club, if they see us doing well in Scotland, would go, you know what, yes, we'll take him back to England. And what's that going to mean is that you bought him on a free, potentially going to sell him anywhere for 7 to 10 mil, and that is straight profit back into your bank account. So I think that's huge. Now, Conser's probably an extreme example of that, but let's take a person like Adrian Gill. Got upset, wanted to leave. 250k doesn't sound like a lot. But he come from Barcelona, a little bit of reputation, had a couple decent years. Sold him to Hungary for 250k. What I will say with that is, not even 2 years ago, we're about $1.9 million in debt. Those sort of sales are massive on this sort of strategy. So first part of the strategy, and you can see it here with other players that we have signed throughout time, you know, Michel's there is probably someone that we're going to look to flip if he develops. You know, Ferrian was another one coming from Real Madrid, and we sold him under 2 mil for Lazio. Why we go and look at talent that is coming from a good reputable club that's being released is the reputation slightly inflated because they've come from a bigger club. And then if they come and play well for you, because they've come from a very good academy, they've played well for you, developing a little bit if they are, which is great. If they're not, still looking to do that, sell them on for big amounts of profit. Now, we've done that with a few people. Irving is a little bit on the older side, but yet again is playing very well for us. You know, he came from West Ham, having a pretty good time of it. Straight away, he's worth, you know, a couple of mil. If you get a big bid here for 2-3 mil, the discipline is you have to sell someone like this because you can find another one and keep on financing the club this way. And this is how I make us sustainable, is through these sort of free agent signings with people that are of a bigger reputable club. Now, there is a name on that list that you're going, Damien, who the hell was that in the middle of the park and how did you get him? Yes, big signing is Mariba. Went from Barcelona to Leipzig, to Valencia on loan a couple of times before Leipzig sold him to Fulham for 3 mil. Fulham played him 5 times in 2 seasons and they released him on deadline day and I picked him up on a free. He only wanted to be here on a squad player deal, but he's massive because straight on I'm telling you, being Mariba and getting him on a free, he's the one like Conser, where he comes in, he plays well for you, develops that little bit. Hopefully when our facilities go up, because we are currently training our facilities again to go up or building our facilities, he's someone that we're going to be able to flip on for big amounts of money. And this is a nice way to tell you, I signed Mariba again in another save. He's one of my favourite players I've ever used on Football Manager. Probably the 4th save I've used him in now. On top of that is the other method, and this is the more fun method. Going out, nitpicking. We got there in the end. Young talent that has resale value. And spending money on that. And I've already done this with the club at the moment. You know, David Montoya is someone like this. Sene, big example, actually spent money. But I think 195k, we're going to be able to turn that into big amounts of money moving forward. We've actually got a new deal coming in for him shortly as well. Yep, I think we do. Waiting for the work permit to come through on him. But what we do here, and I'm going to show you these couple of deals, is we actually go through, scout some of the lower levels around us, or some of the levels around us, and when you find talent that has potential, you sign them. Jackson Conway's one. Have a look. 1 to 12k, bought him for 8.5k. Doesn't look fantastic, but what he does have is mentals and physicals, and he's got 5-star potential. When you're a club with no youth facilities, guys like Jackson Conway have to come in order to make your reserve team better. And what that does is A, makes us go deeper in those reserve cups that give you a little bit of money for funding. B, by playing in the reserves, he could develop, and if he hits his potential, he's going to be a very good to leading premiership player, which is fantastic. And C, if he does develop, you're going to be able to sell him on for big profit. The downside of being a guy like this for 8k is he doesn't develop, he flops, you sell him for roughly 8k, or you release him eventually on a free. What's the downside? There is no downside. So signing guys like this on very cheap deals is really, really good. The two more extreme ones of this, if I go into my Rise of Nation with Scotland and I go to episodes, is we've got the Foley deal, which I'm about to show you. And we'll start with Max Hanna. So this is Max Hanna. Right, as you can see here. No, you can't. You can now. Max Hanna, 66k up front, 24k, 44k. If I move this across here so you can see how much it was, it is 180k total, and that's if we win the league. That's if he scores 10 goals for the club. That's if he makes 20 international appearances for Ireland. And putting in those sort of clauses to win a deal is massive, because if he plays 20 caps for Ireland, scores goals for you, you win the league, you're A, going to make profit on what you're doing in the league, but B, more importantly, he's going to develop into a great player. Now, this is Mark Hanna. Looks fantastic, very well-rounded, got good flair, good leadership, 2.5-star, 5-star potential. To pick someone up like this, that had a 300k release fee, but even picking him up cheaper than that, is huge. He'll probably go in and dominate in the reserves at 19, and more than likely will develop into a very good talent. And that is fantastic. Then there's Greg Foley, who is that next little level above. Now, if I go back into Foley here, as you can see yet again, 450k up front, 120k after he plays 50 games. If he plays 50 games and develops for me in the league, playing 50 games, he's going to probably be a world beater. 100k if he plays 20 games for Ireland. If he plays 20 games for Ireland, Premier League clubs are going to look at him and go, yeah, okay, he's a pretty good player. I always lock in 5% of profit of next sale. So, you know, when you do resell these guys, you're not locked in to giving away 40 to 50% of your resale. It's only 5%. It's absolutely bugger all. And 100k yet again if we win the league. I love throwing in the league ones. I love throwing in a lot of stuff over time, because if it happens over time and they happen to do this, they're going to develop into good enough players where the resale value is going to justify it. Now, Greg Foley at the moment is their best player at Shamrock Rovers. He's a little bit different because he's fantastic at what he does. He's a pretty good 10, but I think he's better in the ball-winning midfielder role. He's someone that I'm actually bringing to play first-team football here. You know, he's got 6'2", great physicals, world-class physicals, right? Very, very, very good, well-rounded mentals, only 110. Technicals lack. But I think bringing him in, playing him full-time, this is someone that if his technicals develop, grows not only into a good to leading player here in Scotland, I think he grows into a player that becomes good to leading in the Premier League. And that means someone that you're signing in for, what, not even a mil, and that most of that's made up of if we win the league, if he plays 20 games for Ireland, etc. I think George Foley ends up being something you sell for 20, 30, 40 million. And finding guys like this, and you're just getting money into your club after a couple of big sales, Spending wisely on players that have bigger resale value is how you can make your club sustainable moving forward. Lucky last I want to show you is it does work. Stephen Ogilvie, right, was someone that came up on a short list for me, right, and I signed him for 2.9k. 2.9k, absolutely nothing. Has not played a minute of first-team football. Have a look how he's developed in the reserves in bugger all facilities. Very well-rounded physicals, great determination, good marking, decent mentals. He's borderline nearly ready to start playing minutes as my fourth choice centre-back in the league. And straight away, I've signed him for 2.9k. Already got a resale value of nearly 475k, give or take. This is someone that, sustainability-wise, moving forward, is perfect because A, there's no downside. 2.9k, free. If he develops into his potential, he's going to be worth a hell of a lot more than 2.9k. And that's why, in these saves, you can trace back to many big sales that I've made from guys that have made very small amounts of initial fee. I think back to Ibe at SFB, we signed him for about 69k. And we're rejecting bids of 100 mil at the end of the save because he grew into world class. We had Eugene Neff, we got him from Adelaide United. We sold him for 20 mil in that save as well. And we bought him for like a K. That sort of stuff. And this is how you can make your club sustainable and long-term have money in the football club so you can upgrade facilities as we're currently doing. You can drag your club out of being, a non-reputable club with no real money, no real facilities to, we've got decent facilities now and the club's moving along. And if you keep doing that, keep bringing the right players and they keep developing, you're going to be amazing in what you do. Now, that is a very, very, very lengthy discussion on how I strategize my signings and what we do, but it works. Other thing is just understanding that if you've got good dynamics and good team cohesion, you don't really need to make big wholesale changes. What I mean by that is we have the money to sign a new keeper. Jay Hogarth, we bought him with the intention of giving him game time so he could become a long-term backup as a Scottish keeper. Have a look at how he's developed this season. He's developing fantastic. There's no way he should be 2-star. If you look at him compared to some of the keepers in the league, he's good. That's why sometimes the star ratings are a bit funny, but I think he's a great keeper, and this is why, we signed him to do that. Other people like that, straight away, is people that the other keeper, Frank Barnes. You sign him on the cheap. He's got a little bit of potential yet again. If he develops into what he's doing, he's already better than half the keepers in the league. So finding these sort of talents is huge. Now let's talk about Europa League football here quickly, etc., and then we'll get on to the rest of the recap here. Europa Conference League, as you can see here, in the group stage, we actually lost our first game to Netefsi or something like that. Our first ever goal was in Europe in a league phase sense was scored by Sene, which was fantastic too. Obviously, a great Senegalese talent that we're now tightening down to a new deal with a 4.5 mil or 4.1 mil release fee. Good header at the back stick. Actually lost this game in a game that we were much the better side, 21 shots 6, which was no good. Since then, though, we beat Hajduk Split 2-1, Slavla Park 4-2, and we just beat Aselund 2-0, which is great. Now, if we take this off and actually have a look at all competitions here, we're actually doing pretty well in the league since we last met. A good run of results, not too many losses, a few draws in there though. As you can see here, we got knocked out in the quarterfinal by Celtic in the Viaplay Cup. That does happen. Lots of, draw to Hibs, but that happens. Dundee we drew, Aberdeen we drew, Rangers we drew, we led 2-0 and they had 10 men. So this was a bad one. And we played against 10 men for 90, 3.95 XG, 23 shots. And then this just happened in the league to lose our first game this season. And I'm kind of glad that this is the run that we've been on because I don't think we're ready to win the league this season. It might happen because the system's really good. We've got some good players. But I kind of want another year of not winning the league yet, finishing third behind Rangers Celtic and really biding our time to really take over. As you can see here, 3.03 XG, 15 shots, 8, missed a penalty on a different day in this game by about 3 or 4 goals. That's kind of been the story of the tale here so far this season. As you can see here, we've only 2 goals over our XG, or even 1 point something goals over our XG. Realistically, we should probably be about 5 to 10 if you're going to win the league. Look at Celtic. We're 3 goals over our XGA, only 2 points over. Yet again, you look at Celtic, they're 8 goals over on their XGA, 7 points over. That's what you need to do to win the league most years. So that's where we currently sit. In terms of what we're going to do for the rest of this episode, I know it was a very talkative episode, but I feel like it's something of importance for you guys. I am currently at work, so I'm getting notifications. I'll get off pretty quickly here. I'm going to play Bournemouth, Partizan, and that's the last 2. And then I'm going to let you know where we finish. As you currently see here, we're on 9 points. I think that all we need to do is get to 7 points to probably make it in. So we should be good to make it into the top 24, which was the goal. You do get money for coming first or second here, but I doubt that's going to happen. Bournemouth and Juve have won both games. Think we're not going to beat Bournemouth, but I'll recap those next two results, let you know where we finish in the league phase, and that'll be the end of the episode. Thank you yet again for sticking with the longer part of this, and hopefully this strategy sort of talk helps you in your saves. I'm going to run the Twitch intro in just a second as well. I just highly want to just recommend that with the Twitch, you can ask me these sort of questions if you're doing your own rebuilds, and I'm more than happy to answer them, or put it in the comment section down below. And when I come back, we'll recap Bournemouth, and I think it was FK Partizani as the last club that we are playing. You, yes, you, follow me on Twitch. You watch all my content live, and of course, all the VODs for all your viewing needs. The Twitch is the place to go, and for funny clips like this. Pietro Pellegrini is a freak, Mum.
Honestly.
Pietro Pellegrini is a freak. Okay, YouTube, here we are. We have got through the end of the league phase for the Europa League. And where do we finish? We finished in 9th and missed out on goal difference by 2 goals of being automatically qualified through the league phase. That means that loss, that big old loss, where we dominated the game against Entefik, is the reason that we lost there. Entefik, I don't know, that team there. Losing 3-2 in a game that we were the better side in has really cost us getting through the top 8. I'm actually okay with that because it should give us a way to get a little bit more money in winning the first game and the gate receipts, and then hopefully going on and hopefully we draw very well. People are probably most interested in the Bournemouth game because it's a Premier League side. Bournemouth absolutely slapped me up away from home, but managing to keep it the 4-2, which was pretty good. Not Anthony is in the winger from Man United, but Solanke in there. Scott, people know. Adams, Senese scored 2. The Ukrainian Maldini, for those that play FPL, when he scored his goal. Fantastic, obviously, at centre-back too. I thought that was a very good Bournemouth squad. People will know some of the names that are on the bench here, of course, like Kirkes, etc. Very similar to what they currently do there, Bournemouth. And if you have a click on Solanke, he's much better than what we are. They currently sit 15th and 55 million in debt, but it's Premier League. They'll be able to survive that pretty easily, you feel, as well. Losing that game, but beating FK Partizani 4-1 at home. And if we were a little bit more clinical, we actually would have probably scored a couple more goals and got through inside the top 8 on goal difference. In the end, I fully rotated in this game, as you can see here, or as rotated as possible. And that's going to bring me on to the current issues with the squad. Firstly, in Europe, because we have no homegrown talent that we can put into the squad, I have a very, select 16, 17 players that I can really use before we have to not register spots, so we can have a team registered for the next few games. So what it's meaning is, as you can see physically, is I've got my best team picked, apart from Sokler, who has been injured, is we have been getting a lot of tired players playing multiple games in a row because we don't have that great amount of depth. We have decent depth, but it's not Premier League, Premiership, Scottish Premiership level. But what it is causing is little niggling injuries. Like Sokler's been out for 3 weeks. Greco keeps being out for 1 to 4 days, and then it's a 7 or 11 days, and then back. We've had the likes of Hall get injured. We've had the likes of a few other people, being in and around being injured. Derek has picked up a couple of injuries this year, and that's all down to a couple of things. That's firstly down to we don't have the greatest physios, but we do have decent physios, and I'm about to get another physio in now. It's now been approved for us. And secondly, we don't have the greatest facilities, which allows us to get that full maximize use of recovery. Once the facilities go up, you get a little bit more recovery in your players because it is part of training. So obviously when we improve the training facilities eventually, we'll be okay. People probably wondering how that looks right now. We've actually got the board. We got the board here. We're not too far away from improving the training facilities. We've actually got the increase in junior coaching budget, and the youth recruitment was done about a year ago. Not even, just a little bit ago, which is pretty cool as well. What I am going to do moving forward is look to maybe get a couple of the more facilities upgraded. We've still got 7 mil in the bank, 3 mil to spend, and I don't plan on spending any of that. Lucky last thing is the league table. Since we last met there, we have gone a little bit of a wayward run there. We beat Kilmarnock 3-2, beat St Johnstone 3-1. But what I mean wayward is this whole period, Hearts, Rangers, etc. A few more draws in here. Yes, we're on 20 games played. Yes, we're on the same amount of points as Rangers. But realistically, if you look at the data hub, we should be top. We're behind. We're on our goals, which, as you look at Celtic, who are currently top at 8 goals over, we're over our XG. And if you look at Celtic and Rangers, they're only, basically the same. And Celtic are 8 points plus better off. Whenever you see teams win the league and you look at the data hub, they're usually about 8 to 10 goals plus on their goals. They're generally under the XGA or just over the XGA, and them scoring more goals makes up for it. And then lucky last, obviously, on the points are generally 8 to 10 points over. So slight underperformance, and I think that's also stemmed down to the fact of European football. We are about to get our busy period now, which is going to be interesting. But after that, getting into January, we should be able to hopefully get everyone back to full fitness. Maybe I'll buy another player or two, which we can register in for the Scottish Premiership, but we can't register in for Europe as I'm at maximum capacity. That also disincentivises me to sign someone in Jam, because they're probably going to get upset when I can't register them in for the Conference League. So I'm hoping we can just get through this period. Whatever our run is in the Conference League, I don't expect to win it, and then see where we finish. And to be honest, from what I've seen, I think we've got to finish third. We might finish fourth or fifth, but top 5 finish yet again. Looking at European football yet again, it's been a pretty good spot. This has been a very lengthy episode of me talking. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I will see you next time. Give it a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel. As always, you've got the playlist video here, you've got the 442 video here, or it might be the other way around, whichever way it is. Till next time, thank you and goodbye.